Now y'all know I'm here for y'all, so one of my subscribers told me that my last video was not that beginner friendly, so I'm going to run that back for y'all and fix it and slow it down just a little bit. So we're going over everything from how to hold your string to how to do the magic loop. So when I'm holding my string, I'm literally using my pinky and my ring finger to kind of anchor the tail, and I'm using my pointer finger as my tension holder, and then my middle finger and my thumb are pinching and holding my project. So with the magic loop, the X of the magic loop is going to be on the back of your fingers. So when you're looking at it from the front, it just looks like two individual strings. Then you're going to take your 5mm hook on a 4mm yarn, slide it under, turn your hook over, hook it, pull it back. Then you're going to turn your hook over again. Then you're going to take it up in the middle of the V on the left hand side of the V and pull it through. Just if you're fumbling, don't get frustrated, just keep going, okay? And then you're going to slowly take your hand out of the loop, and then there's your magic loop. And then again, how we hold our string, put your tension there and then pinch your project, and then you would chain 2, 1, 2, and remember, this is the very beginning of our hat. So right now I'm going over some of the basic steps. So then this next stitch I'm going to show you is called a double crochet. So you have to yarn over, come down to your project, turn your hook, pull it back under. And you know it's a double crochet because you're going to pull your yarn through 2 of those loops every time until you have 1 left. So through 2, then yarn over again and pull it through your last 2. That makes your double crochet. Again, yarn over, bring it down to your project, under, hook it, pull it back under, and then you're going to pull it back through 2 loops. So yarn over and pull it back through 2. 1, 2, and then your last 2, yarn over, pull it 2. That's your double crochet. So before we actually got all the way into the hat, I just wanted to show you guys the basic stitches that we are going to use in this hat. So when I'm calling them out, chain 2, double crochet, yarn over, you already know what I'm talking about. So again, this is your double crochet that we're doing right now, and this is the main stitch of this hat. So you see how I'm holding my needle? It's kind of like a fork, kind of like a pencil. And now let's get straight into it. I have my 5mm hook for my 4mm yarn. Okay, we're starting off with the magic loop. The X of the magic loop is going to be on the back of your hand, and then your 2 individual strings on the front. Take your hook, go under, over, turn your hook over, pull it back through, turn your hook over again, and then you're going to grab it on the other side of the V, on the left side of the V. And then you're going to pull it through. If you start fumbling, don't get frustrated and think you don't have it. Just, gently pull it back through and you got it. Then you take your hand out and you re-grip your project like so. So let's run that back and start all over one more time. Our magic loop. X on the back of the hand. This is over 3 fingers. Okay, I have this over 3 fingers. Then you're going to take your needle, you're going to go under, then you're going to flip your needle over so you can grab the other string and pull it under. Go up, and on the left side of the V, pull that side of the string back through. Remember, if you fumble, it's okay. If you take too long, like you feel like, just don't rush. You got this, okay? Remember, this is beginner. Then you're going to slowly take your hand out the loop, and then how I showed you guys how to grip your string, now we're going to grip our whole project and go right into making stitching our stitches onto our magic circle, doing our double crochets all the way around our magic circle. So you have your tension with your pointer finger, and you're pinching your project with your thumb and your middle finger. Now you're going to chain 2. 1, yarn over, pull through, and there's your second chain. Now you're going to start 10 double crochets. I personally do 10 double crochets around the circle. I noticed that fits a lot better. So remember, yarn over, pull it back through, and you know this is a double crochet because you're gonna yarn over and pull through 2 loops each time. You always have 3 up there, but you're gonna pull through 2 loops each time until you're back to 1. So that is your double crochet. We have 10 of these all the way around. So again, you guys, remember, we're beginners. So if you lose grip of your project, just always grab it back. It works for me to actually pinch my project and have the tension wrapped around my finger because it allows me to still have a nice tight project. So again, yarn over, pull it through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over again and pull it through 2. Then you're going to yarn over another time and you're going to pull it through the last 2. That's your double crochet. Okay, so anytime we say double crochet, that is the stitch right there that I'm talking about. And we're going to do that all the way around this whole entire hat. Okay, people do all types of sizes. Like some people go smaller. If you're trying to go smaller, it might be 8 or 9 stitches. If you're trying to go bigger, it might be to 12 stitches. But I noticed when I do 12, it is a little bit on the bigger side. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit, but I am still here with you guys. So if you see these stitches in between, that's how you can count your stitches. So again, I do 10 stitches when I'm doing a hat, but again, you're more than welcome to do trial and error, or you can measure someone's head to see if they're on the bigger side or the smaller side. So again, 12 if you're on the bigger side. I would do like 9 to 10 if you're on the smaller side. If you're going like kid sizes, then I would take it down to almost like 8. But that's just me personally. Remember, grip your project. Your pointer finger is for the tension. You want to use your pointer finger to keep your tension in your project, you guys. Right now, I have made it to 10 stitches along my magic loop. And now I'm going to use that tail, the little piece of string that we left out in the beginning, and I'm going to pull the circle tight so you can see it form that tippy top of the hat, and this is going to be the base in which we're going to work on top of. So once you get everything situated, we are then going to do what's called a slip stitch, and you're going to do it on the first full stitch, not on the little stitch you see on the left that's like curved a little bit, but that stitch following immediately after. So again, grip your project. You're not going to yarn over. You're simply going to push your hook through, grab your yarn, and then pull it through, and that's going to be your slip stitch. So you just closed the first round of the hat. Each row is going to start with chaining 2. So after you end one row, you start the next row with chaining 2. You chain 2 up, then you yarn over, and you're going to do 2 double crochets in each of these gaps that I'm showing you right here, all the way around. And if you keep your pinchers on your project, it will be easy for you to get these stitches in and out. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet in the same gap. Remember, you know it's a double crochet because you're pulling through 2 loops each time. 2 loops twice, double crochet. In the same gap, you're going to do another double crochet. Pull through your first 2, pull through your last 2. Yarn over, move over to the next gap, 1 double crochet, and then we're going to go into our second crochet in the same loop. Remember, we're working 2 double crochets into 1 loop all the way around. And remember, you guys, if you lose grip on your string, just simply readjust your hands. You don't want to have too much slack on your string because then your hat is just going to be, I don't know, wonky looking. So we're going to speed this up just a little bit and work our way all the way back to where we started from with the 2 double crochets in each gap. Now, like I said before in my previous video and how we got to this video, if you need me to make another video breaking down something in even more depth, please let me know. I am more than happy to show and share that with you all. Okay, so now we are closing up our second round. So again, we're going to do our slip stitch And remember that slip stitch is skipping that very first chain you see that's kind of curving and go into that following chain and putting our hook straight through. We're not yarning over. You're going to grab your string and then you're just going to pull it back through. And then remember I said we start each new row with chaining 2 upwards, and you see how this is nice and tight, is forming a circle. So this is that tippy top of the hat. So again, chain 2 up, and now the pattern from 2 double crochets in each loop like we did before. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first loop, and then on the following loop we're going to do 2 double crochets. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets in each of the loops. So we're going to follow that pattern. So now we're going to do 2 double crochets in this one, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back down to your project within the same loop, and we're going to do 2 double crochets in that loop. So 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the pattern that we're going to follow. So you can see it right here a little bit. 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochets. So we're on 1 double crochet, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. Then on your next opening, we're going to do 2 double crochets in this opening. So double crochet, pull through, and back down to the same loop and another double crochet. So remember, we're doing this all the way around until we're right back at the starting point, and then we're going to be starting a new row. Pause me if you need to, rewind me if you need to, go ahead of me if you need to. Other than that, meet you back at the beginning. Okay, so we are closing up our 3rd row, and remember we always want to end on a double crochet. So your last stitch before closing that row up should always be a double crochet. So again, we're going to slip stitch to close off our 3rd round, and then we're going to start a new pattern of 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. Okay, so slip stitch, close it up, and then we're going to do what? We're going to chain 2 up to start our new row. So at this point we should have 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. We're going to have 6 rows total on the top of the hat. So now we're going to chain 2 up to start our following row, and then this pattern on this row is going to go 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So that is the pattern that we're going to follow. So 1 double crochet in your first opening, 1 double crochet in your second opening, and then 2 double crochets in your 3rd opening. And you're going to follow that pattern all the way around. Remember, always keep your tension in your project so that you don't have a loose, sloppy project. You want to keep everything nice, tight, and together. Okay, so here's just like a little bit of a close-up of what the pattern is like. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1, 1, 2. So we're going to do this all the way around until we're then back at where we started from, and then we're going to start our next row. Okay, so you see we're closing up our 4th row. Remember, we always end on a double crochet, so that will be our increase rows. And all these rows that we're doing right now where it's a certain pattern and then 2 double crochets in one area, those are all called increase rows. So you see right here, we're just going to slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 2 to start our 5th row. So put your needle in, just pull it through, and then again, like I said, we're going to chain 2. If you haven't picked up on it now, we're always going to chain 2 at the end of every single row to start our next row. So the top of our hat is 6 rows, so we have 2 more rows to go until we're done with the very top of our hat, and then we'll be single crocheting all along the sides of the hat. So you see we're just giving our rows an extra count so you can always see where you're at. It's no harm in going back and recounting things. So now this is going to be, the pattern is going to be 1, 1, 1, 2. So 3 single crochets and then followed by 2 double crochets in the same area. So 1 double crochet. Again, if you lose your grip, it's not a big deal. Just re-grab your string. Remember, we're all beginners here. So you go into your next loop and then you do another single crochet, another single double crochet. So 1 double crochet. I'm sorry if that was a little confusing, but if you've been doing this pattern all along, then you know what I'm saying. So then we're in our 3rd loop for another double crochet, and now we're on to our next loop. You see I'm counting it out here. Always, if you need to at any time, just count out your stitches. There's no harm in counting out your stitches. It doesn't mean you're doing wrong or anything like that. Just always keep track of where you are. They do have stitch markers just in case you're one of those people that needs them, but I don't know, for me it was just like kind of just doing, it was just in the way for me. So we're going back into the same loop and we're going to do another double crochet. 1 1 1 2 is a pattern that we're following here. So let's restart again. Remember, 1 double crochet, then you're going to do another double crochet in the next loop. Now I'm going really slow, so hopefully you guys are following right along. Again, if you need to go ahead of me, please do. If you need to stop and rewind, please do. Whatever you need so that I can see some finished products of these hats, okay? So again, another double crochet. And work as slowly as you need to. This is not a rush. This is something that is really supposed to be for your mental or just something you want to do. And then in your final loop, you're going to do another 2 double crochets in that loop. 1 1 1 2. Okay? So we're going to do that all the way around, and then I'll meet you back where we started. So let's speed this up just a little bit. And remember, you guys, I'm making this stuff for you. So if there's something that you need broke down a little more, please do not hesitate to let me know down in the comments. So again, we're working on our 5th row. The pattern is 1 1 1 2. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets in the same loop. So I'm going to meet you guys back at where we started from. It's a little close-up of how the pattern should look. You guys, 'tis the season for these crochet hats. So now we're closing up our 5th row and we're headed on to our 6th row. So slip stitch, and then you're going to chain 2 like we always do. So chain 1 and chain 2. Now this is our 6th row. So this is the final row that we are working on. 1 2 3 4 5, and then 6 makes our final row for the very top of our hat. So again, this is another increase row, so the pattern is going to go 1 1 1 1 2. So it's going to take up 5 openings total, and then in your first opening is a 1 double crochet, your second opening is another double crochet, your third opening is another double crochet, your 4th opening is yet another double crochet, and then finally on your 5th opening, that's when you're going to do 2 double crochets within the same gap. I know I'm talking a little faster than what I'm working, but I just want to be able to talk and keep you guys ahead of what you're doing, as well as showing you the steps slowly so that this is something that you can truly just follow along and make sure that you're doing everything correctly. So always keep count in what you're doing. With all these increase rows, sometimes you can get lost on where you're supposed to do with double crochet at, but again, you can always look at the previous row to kind of give you a hint on what your next pattern should be. Again, this pattern is 1 1 1 1 2. 4 double crochets, just 1 double crochet 4 times, and then on your 5th you're going to do 2 double crochets in the same spot. So I sped this up a little bit so that I'm not just prolonging this, and I feel like on our 5th row, on our 6th row, that we should kind of have a better grasp of how we're moving, how we're operating, and how we're getting through this. Remember to always keep your attention in that pointer finger when you are stitching and going along with your projects. So I'm going to speed this up just a little more, and now we're closing up our 6th row. Remember, our 6th row is our final row of the top of the hat, and then regardless of how many openings you have left end on a double crochet within the same loop so that it just flows better. Okay, I don't know all the way why you should end on a double crochet. That's just what I've been doing, and that's how I learned, so that's how I'm teaching you all. So again, now we're here, we're gonna end this 6th row with another slip stitch, how we always do, and then we are going to chain 2 to start our 7th row. Now starting the 7th row, we're going to start working on the side of the hat, so it does get a little bit easier from here. But the tricky part with on the 7th row is that you're only going to double crochet through the back parts of the stitch. So you're going to put your hook, yarn over, then you push your hook in between the stitch and only go with that back stitch. So I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully the visual did it for you. But you're only going to, there's no double crochets, there's no 2 double crochets in the same loop. This is going to be a single double crochet all the way around. But just make sure you're going through that back loop only. This is going to make the side of the hat come down and kind of like shape, like a bucket hat, like how the side of the brim, how the side of the hat, I'm sorry, not the brim. You'll see how the brim is going to be opposite. But again, you're only going through that back loop. Okay, so hopefully this visual is good enough to where you can see that I'm separating the stitches and I'm only using a half of the stitch, and then I'm following with my double crochet. And remember, we know it's a double crochet because we're pulling through 2 loops both times. Double crochet. So you're going to do this all the way around, and then you will see the type of pattern that it forms. So again, this is the 7th row. So you're going to have 6 rows on the top and 6 rows on the side of the hat, totaling 12 rows total. These are the rows on the side of the hat are not going to involve any increased stitches. It's only going to be single double crochets in each loop going all the way around. So you can see how it's starting to fold in a little bit, and that's what we want because again, like I told you, this is the side of the hat. So now that we're done with that row, we're going to slip stitch, and then we are going to chain 2 like we always do, and like at the end of every row for the beginning of the next row, we always chain 2. So just engrave that in your head. And now you guys, this is where it starts to get a little bit easier because the side of the hat is literally single double crochets going all the way around for your next 5 rows after this, because the 7th row made our first row, and then you only need 6 more after, you only need 5 more rows after this, because 6 on the top, 6 on the sides. That's how you know you have enough rows for your bucket hat. And again, you are just double crocheting in each loop. You're going back through the full entire opening. You're not separating the stitch at all. You're going all the way through. 1 double crochet in each opening all the way around for the next 5 rows. And have fun with this. If you find yourself getting frustrated or overwhelmed, just put the project down and come back to it later. It's no rush. We're doing this to cope or just to ease our brains, right? So we're going to speed it up just a little bit as we get through the size of this hat. And I'm telling you guys, like, this part right here is the easiest part. You don't have to worry about any increased rows. You don't have to worry about 2 double crochets in 1 loop. You just double crochet all the way around. So your speed should pick up now, and you should be able to pick up on your technique a little more. Just always remember to keep that tension in the pointer finger. And if you need to recheck, look at yourself, stop the video, whatever you need to do, just do it, because I'm telling you, 'tis the season for these hats. You girls can easily open your own business. You could make you a YouTube video about how to crochet for a beginner. Who knows? But it's just a good time. So enjoy it. Don't make this something that's stressful and, oh my God, this takes too much time. Just break, stop, start, however many times you need to. So you see where we were going with this, right? It's definitely giving the side of the hat. So I have 2 more rows to complete. If you are at the same spot with me, great. If not, just keep the video on pause until you are, and pick up back with me at any point in time that you're ready. And remember, we're still only doing single double crochets in each loop. So single double crochets is what you're doing for the side of the hat. Okay? So you didn't miss a step. If you didn't do any double crochets, this is definitely how it's supposed to be. You're only single double crocheting in each loop for the entire side of the hat. No increased rows at all. Okay, so here we are closing up the sides of our hat. So this is our 6th row on the side of the hat, our 12th row total. And now we're going to get ready to move on to our brim. Now remember, there is no double crochets in the same loop, so we're just going to end on a single double crochet. So slip stitch, pull it back through, chain twice, and then how we did the first part going in the front of the loop only, now we're going to go in the back loop, the loop that's closest to you. So we're only going to single double crochet in each loop, only going through the loop closest to you. So we're not going to use the whole entire stitch like we normally do. We're going to use half of it like we did for the 7th row going into the side of the hat. If your stitches seem to be like they're a little loose, they're really not. It's only because you're going through one stitch only, like one part of the stitch only, not even the whole stitch. So you're only going through one part of the stitch. So there should be like a little give, but nothing like too crazy or too sloppy. And again, this is starting the brim of the hat. So this is kind of like where the hat will start to flip out a little bit, doing this pattern right here. And again, I really hope I'm making sense to you all. If I'm not, please leave me any type of criticism, constructive criticism. Don't be mean, but constructive criticism or anything you need to gain more clarity in my comments. And I promise you, as fast as I can, I will clear it up and make another video for you guys. Let's speed this up and get through this round on this hat. This is our first row of starting our brim for the hat. So now we're about to get into the fun part, you guys. We're about to start making those waves as soon as we get through the rest of this. Okay, so we are closing up our 13th row. So total so far on this hat, we have 13 rows. Our 13th row is the first row of our brim of our hat. So slip stitch, and like we always do, we are going to chain 2 before we start the next row. Now, this row is going to consist of 2 double crochets in each loop going all the way around the hat. You can see how the brim is starting to flip out. So we want to keep that pattern going. Well, not the exact pattern, but we want to keep that shape going of the flip out. So you're going to do 2 double crochets in each loop, and this, you guys, is going to give you that cute wavy start of the brim of your wavy crochet bucket hat. Now, if you wanted more of like a dramatic ruffle look, you would simply add more crochets into the same loop. So maybe instead of 2 double crochets going all the way around, you would do 3 or 4 double crochets in the same area going all the way around. But for my personal preference and for what I want to show you guys, we're going to keep it simple, and we're just going to do like a moderate wavy hat. So that's going to consist of, like I said, 2 double crochets in each space going all the way around. So let's speed this up just a little bit, kind of a little bit. And again, if you need to pause this video, rewind this video, please do whatever you need to do so that you can get through this hat and not be frustrated. After you learn the basics, then you can pretty much play with the stitches however you want to. Like if you want a really, really big ruffly brim, if you don't want a brim at all, if you just want like a straight brim, then you just wouldn't do any increased stitches. You would just do single double crochet all the way out, and you would have like your regular bucket hat. So once you learn the basics of how to do the hat, then from there you can do what you want. It's art, it's creating, you literally create whatever you see fit. And you can see how we're starting to get the wave of the brim. That's exactly what we want in this wavy bucket hat. I'm so excited, you guys. We are closing up our row on this. So the next row is going to be our last increase row. So you already know how we do. We want to end on a double crochet, 2 double crochets in the same loop, especially when you're, well, that's all that's left in this row is all double crochets in the same loop. So we're going to slip stitch, yarn over, and just pull the yarn all the way through, and then we're going to chain 2 like we always do to start a new row. Can you see the wave in the bucket hat? It's given, right? It's definitely given wavy bucket hat, and we're not even done yet. So for this row, the pattern is going to go 1 2 1 2, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets in the same loop, 1 double crochet in your first loop, and a yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 again, and then you're going to yarn over, and then this area you're going to do 2 double crochets. So this is your final increase row for your brim. This is going to accentuate the wave in your bucket hat, and this is what you're doing. Okay, so 1 2 1 2, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. That is going to be your pattern throughout this entire round of this hat, and this is your final increase row. I'm so excited for y'all. We are almost done. Let's speed this up and let's close up this round because we are about to move on to the next round. Okay, so again, end on a double crochet when you're getting ready to slip stitch. Okay, all right, you guys, we are almost done with this hat. I know you guys are so excited because so am I, and please leave pictures of y'all's hats down in these comments. I definitely want to see if I'm really a good teacher. Anyways, we're going to slip stitch and chain 2 like we always do. Do you see the wave that it's giving? It's nice and subtle. It's not too much, but just nice and subtle. So we're going to chain 2. And then you guys, from here on out, it's easy peasy. Okay, we are simply going to double crochet all the way around for 2 rows, and then that'll be the end of our hat. So we are going to single double crochet in each loop going all the way around for 2 rows. Okay, these are our final 2 rows, so we're going to keep up the same stitch pattern to finish out our hat. So double crochet in each loop, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more, and we're doing this all the way around. Like I said, the hard part is over. There's no more increased stitches, y'all. We're in our home stretch now. Okay, we're definitely in our home stretch. So finishing up this hat, you guys, once you go to slip stitch, you are going to slip stitch and pull it tight, like pull it tight as if you're about to tie off a knot, and then you want to clip your string so that you can actually thread the excess string back and forth through the rest of the hat so you can finish off the hat. You don't want a bunch of loose string hanging everywhere because that wouldn't be nice, right? You guys, we are done. Look at our cute wavy bucket hat. Don't forget to tie off the string in the middle of the hat. You guys, I hope you had so much fun. I hope you learned a lot. If you did, please let me know down in the comments how I did teaching you, and I will definitely see you soon. Bye.